Stirring the coffee with chopsticks using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee at the molecular level. Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. We'll get started, but first, coffee. It's Triple Bastard Dark Roast. I'll put a link for it down below. They are the official coffee sponsor of the Daybreak Show. Nice. Nice. Made in a percolator today, just ground. Wow, nice and hot too. Usually I end up screwing around so much that by the time I get to my coffee, it's hot, but not piping hot. And I like my coffee just so hot that you can barely sip it. The looking glass self. I will ask you this, is your perception reality? The looking glass self describes the process where individuals base their sense of self on how they believe others view them. Using social interaction as a mirror, people use the judgments they receive from others to measure their own worth, their own values, and their behavior. For some, this is good news. For some, this is bad news. If you're walking down a hallway and you pass, let's just say 20 people in the hallway, and every single one of them looks you up and down and then has a look of disgust on their face or a look of surprise on their face, you're going to think something's up. Like the next time you go into the bathroom, you can look in the mirror, you're going to be like, what were they looking at? When that happens enough, you start basing your self-perception based upon other people's reactions to you, the looking glass self. So if you have been in relationships, in and out of relationships your whole life, the perception is that you can't handle relationships based upon other people's response to you. You can't hold down a relationship. That's difficult for a lot of people. It's a point of, as I said last night in a broadcast, it's a revelation point. And that's very difficult for a lot of people to get to that revelation point where there's insight. All of a sudden, this aha moment, something just pops into their head and they say to themselves, this is true. This has been happening for years. And I am the common thread. Wake up. Revelation. They are not bad places to get to. Revelation points. I like to say, let's hear it for all the good, part-time, short-term guys, boyfriends, who don't have what it takes to have a lifelong relationship, to be a husband for your whole life to a woman. Guys, you're not broken. You've had a divorce or two. Some people even had 3. You are not broken. Let's talk about that. You may really desire to run a 4-minute mile. That's a pretty fast run, isn't it? But you don't possess the biology and the mental software to be able to do it. Running a 4-minute mile can happen with the right biology, with the right physiology. There are some bodies that are just literally, some human forms are not going to run a 4-minute mile no matter how hard they train. Now let's keep that in mind. You might really, really desire to be married, to be a husband, to be a father, to have a successful relationship. Now here's the connection. But you might not have what it takes. That right there is the real red pill, my brother. Yeah, but women... Stop. I'm going to Jocko Willink you for a second. I want you to take extreme responsibility for yourself. No more blaming. But modern women, I know because I've done it. What is a modern woman? Any woman who has running water. Any woman who's raised in the West. Any woman with modern Western values, that kind of thing.
Because you're a whore.
I get that. Let's just put that aside. You personally may not have what it takes to be in a long-term relationship or a lifelong marriage. And that is a hard realization to come to. I started thinking that way. I started looking at myself, looking at my age, and I'm thinking, maybe I don't have what it takes. And that's where the looking glass self is. I look back on relationships. The real red pill is this: seeing the world as it is, not how you want it to be. There are people, no matter how much they train, no matter what, I don't care if they're running in the morning, running at night, they're eating all the right stuff, they're working out, they have a running coach. There are some people that no matter what they do, they're not going to run a 4-minute mile. And there are some people, no matter how much genuine desire you have to be married, speaking to the men here, no matter how much desire you have, you might not have what it takes to have that long, happy, healthy marriage. That's why in my coaching, I work with guys getting out of marriages, getting out of relationships, getting unstuck in life, love, career, and business. That's how I coach. What I don't do is marriage counseling. I can't tell someone how to have a happy, healthy, long-term marriage because I didn't have one. But there's a lot of people out there that'll tell you how to have a great marriage. And they spend 99% of their time saying, yes, dear. I will tell you this: a long, happy, healthy marriage is not about conceding and being the yes, dear expert. When I ask old guys, I told you this last week, 2 old guys I talked to last week, one guy said, when I said, what's the secret to a long, happy marriage? He said, separate bathrooms. The other guy, what's the secret to a long, happy marriage? And these are guys that were married like 60 and more years. Second guy said, keep your mouth shut. But that's not conceding. That's just knowing when to speak up, when not to speak up. So one of my personal red pills, one of my revelation points was, maybe I don't have what it takes. Personally, maybe I don't have what it takes. And accompanying that thought came sadness and melancholy. And you think to yourself, I can get them, but I can't keep them, or I don't have what it takes to keep them. Getting them, that's no problem. Keeping them, that's a problem. Yeah, but modern women, shut up with the modern women. Let's just talk about yourself.
You're a whore.
Let's just talk about the men right now. What if you don't have what it takes? What if you don't have those tools in your toolbox? What if you want to build a house and you open up the toolbox and there's only plumbing tools? There's no carpenter tools. You don't have the tools. You can't do it. You can't build a house. You need certain tools to build certain things. And the conclusion that I came to about my life, and the conclusions that you need to come to and discover about your life, is this: do you have the tools to do what it takes, whatever that thing is? I am not going to enter a 125cc motorcycle in a drag race. The engine doesn't support speed. It doesn't have what it takes. No matter how hard I gun that throttle, it's not going to be enough to even participate in that race. Let's bring that back to relationships. There's certain things that you can do to better yourself. I do agree. There's certain things that we can do to be more considerate, to be more loving, to be more problem solving. There's quirks that we have that we can kind of tone down or mute a little bit to succeed in relationships. But then there are certain things that we just cannot do. And it brings sadness when you get that revelation point. And there is a lot of wisdom in saying out loud, not just thinking. Because if you just think, you're going to have like this free-floating sadness. It's amazing when you can say out loud, I just don't have what it takes to make a marriage work or to have a long-term happy marriage. And you might look at other people who have crappy marriages, crappy relationships, and you think to yourself, why do they even stay in it? I don't get it. That's the point that I want you to get to. Rather than having, and it's very freeing, it's very liberating, rather than just having frustration be part of my life, I take full responsibility for my inability to sustain a long-term happy marriage. I take responsibility. First reaction is sadness, because you have genuine desire to do so. But it's sad. You feel bad about it. It might make you tearful. You might blame people. You might blame circumstances. Some people, I'm not a huge fan of the phrase, well, it is what it is. Remember, that became very popular in the past 25, 30 years. It is what it is. Let me tell you how it is. A projectile goes in the direction that it's aimed in, whether it be a cannon, whether it be a firearm. You aim the barrel in this direction, the projectile will go in that direction. It's not going to go in that direction. It's going to go in the direction that it was aimed in. And part of coaching, part of therapy, actually therapy, if you think about it, going backwards and looking at your life, you might not have been aimed in the right direction. So stop beating yourself for it. Gentlemen, you are not broken, number one. And number two, don't think it's just the modern woman. I will say that most modern women are not worthy of being pursued in any form or fashion. Doesn't matter how pretty they are. Doesn't matter how good they talk. It doesn't matter what they say to you. Doesn't matter. They don't have it either. And women will just go through man after man after man after man. Like the video said, my notch count went up, but my value went down when that woman was talking.
Ladies decrease, man value go up.
Men, the popular form of thinking is that men increase in value with age and women decrease in value. I remember I used to say to a girlfriend about my wrinkles in my forehead, and they're getting deeper. And then only in the past, several years, have these wrinkles got, there ain't no Botox, there ain't nothing. There's nothing that are going to take away these wrinkles. And one time someone said, they give you character. I like them. Don't do anything about that. I like them. Not that I was thinking about doing anything about it. But the reality is, as I get older, my social value increases. I'm able to make more money. I am more of a prolific writer and speaker. I stand on more stages now than I ever did when I was younger. Like the lady said, as her experience, in other words, the more men that she's with goes up, the more her value goes down, and the less that men want her. We were talking last night on the podcast that I was a guest on, how pure women, virgin women, when a father had daughters, the daughter that was the purest, actually, like a potential husband, young man, would have to pay more or work harder for the pure daughter. We have seemed to have forgotten that in this day and age, that purity is valuable. Purity is valuable. You pay more for purity. That's the way it is. That's why I used to joke around and say, what are you going to pay full price for used merchandise? Hey, I'm the thrift store expert. I can go and get top name, top label brand clothing at certain thrift stores. I can get shirts that normally cost $100. I can get them for $6. And I've done that many times. People say, wow, how do you do that? You have a knack for finding value amongst garbage. So that's maybe one of the most powerful tweets I've ever done in my life, is about the genuine desire to want to be something but not have the tools to be able to do it. It's frustrating, it's sad, and it's a red pill moment. It's a revelation moment. It's where your eyes are opened up. And you have to go through that sadness and frustration first before you find peace. Peace comes through truth. The truth will set you free, but first it will make you angry. That's how it works. So when I came to the conclusion that I don't have what it takes, I was sad. I was frustrated. And I thought, life isn't fair. I went in the direction that I was aimed in. But I'm not broken. So you work with what you have. Do I want to string together a bunch of 3, 4, and 5-year relationships the rest of my life? No, not interested in that. That gets old after a while, Do I want to have a revolving door on my bedroom? No, not interested in that. Been there, done that. So what do? I work with what I have. I am healthy. I am generally happy. I make money. I feel like I'm going to live a long time. My lifestyle is consistent with a man who's going to live a long time, who's going to outlive his peers by decades. I am charismatic when I am in a crowd of people, even though I am kind of an introvert. I know how to turn on the social charm with people. I am a gentleman. I know proper social protocol. There's a lot of good things that I do. I have a successful show called The Daybreak Show that helps a lot of people, but I just don't have what it takes. What area in your life do you feel like you don't have what it takes? Now, this is not a virtual confessional for you. If you want to put something down below in the comment section, it's welcome. But what was a revelation point or a red pill moment for you where you realized that you're not going to run that 4-minute mile, that you're not going to have that long, happy marriage? Gentlemen, if she lied to you about that, you might say, what is that? Fill in the blank, whatever you want. Doesn't matter what it is. If she lied to you about that, what else has she lied to you about, and what other lies will she tell you in the future? Now we're shifting gears, but we always have to start with ourselves, always. If she lied to you about that, what else has she lied to you about? That's a rabbit hole. That'll make you lose sleep at night when you think about that. That's why you got to kind of be detached a little bit. Just a little bit of detachment, a little bit of outcome independence never hurt any man. And remember, the girlfriend that broke up with you would have ended up being the wife that divorces you. Long story short, you dodged a bullet, bro. Even though it doesn't feel like it now for those that are going through breakups. And that's something I want to address. On Twitter, I call myself Divorce and Breakup Recovery, at George Bruno, but my main title is Divorce and Breakup Recovery. That is what I do well. If you saw the podcast last night, I am the triage expert. I am the guy that you want to talk to when your wife tells you she doesn't want to be married this morning. When you're only 8 hours into it and you still have that what the hell just happened look on your face. When everyone else is giving you platitudes. I know what to say. I know what to do. I know how to help you screw your head on straight and get your feet firmly planted on the ground and move forward. Get traction, get unstuck. Help you get through the shock. That's what my coaching does. It's evergreen, which means it will never go out of style. It will never be irrelevant. So last night I was on Church of the Eternal Logos. David Patrick Harry, young man that I respect. He's 33 years old. I'm exactly 30 years older than him. He is a scholar, theological scholar, brilliant young man. And we had a great talk about masculinity, what's plaguing men today, what issues men are dealing with. So you want to check that out. You want to go to the channel called Church of the Eternal Logos. He said, I forgave her after the affair, but every time she was 15 minutes late for anything, guess what thoughts went through my head? Gentlemen, if she cheats, it's done. It's done. End the relationship privately. Plan your exit privately. If you say this marriage is over while you're at work, I'll give you an example. I worked with a guy who came home from work and there was a post-it note on the door that said this marriage is over. He was like, what the hell? Takes the note off the door. Like, what? What? Goes in the house, opens up the door, goes in the house, and everything's gone. Empty house. You can't tell me she didn't plan that. Because moving, I mean, it was like how the Grinch stole Christmas. Not only did she take pictures off the wall, it was like even the nails that hold the picture on the wall came out. That took planning, and it took a lot of planning. And it's almost as if she cleaned the house after she moved everything out. The only thing that was in the house was his clothing. She moved even the kitchen stuff out. She didn't even leave him a plate and a fork. If you're going to escape from a marriage or a relationship, do not announce it. Plan it. Don't be impulsive, gentlemen. By the time a woman leaves you, listen close. By the time a woman leaves you, she has been planning it for 6 months to a year. Ask me how I know. They think about things, and they will lie for a year, make love to you, go on weekend getaways, have anniversary dinners, give you a birthday blowjob, the whole thing, and one day later say this marriage is over. Just so you don't think anything is going on. That's why men say, I got blindsided. I know you did. I know you did. So if you're leaving a relationship, you need to plan it. If she cheats, it's done. There's no healing that needs to take place. I don't believe any healing can really happen when it comes to that. So apparently I have videos on TikTok. People have clipped me, taken clips from my YouTube channel, and I don't care. As long as you put my name and credit me, that's all I care about, because people will end up here. Your TikTok video will put me in their consciousness, which helps my business. I like that. It's called the strategy of preeminence. So when they think about divorce and breakup, they think me immediately, and I become the source of healing and helping a man get stronger and move on. That is how I have developed my career. Like I said, I'm not the guy to come to if you want a long, happy, healthy marriage. There's other guys that are good for that, and I'm happy to refer you to them. But going back to the breakup thing, people do not take the fella that went through a breakup seriously. His heart is breaking beyond what you can imagine. Now, with divorce, there's a little more understanding. But what if you've been in a long-term relationship? Do you think a breakup feels less hurtful than a divorce? I can tell you it doesn't. It's the same exact thing. So, like I said to you, my brother, you've gone through a breakup. It hurts like hell. You can't catch your breath. You have that pain in your chest. I know exactly how you're feeling. It gets better. You need to breathe deeper. Breathe. Because that's one of the things you haven't done in a while is take a deep breath. Men who've gone through breakups feel like that they are dying. And the pain does not go away. And there have been surveys done that have talked to people about emotional pain and physical pain. People would opt for physical pain any day of the week because that can heal and go away. Emotional pain flares up the brain, not momentarily, but it stays flared up. I was talking to a gentleman this week about cortisol in his life, and we were talking about being overweight as men. And he talked about a little bit of a belly that he had. And I said, that's the cortisol belly. And some people have even written me and said the cortisol belly. And those of you who know about that, you know what I'm talking about. That just comes from stress. It's the cortisol belly. Once you relieve the stressors from your life, you might trim down and muscle up just from removing stressors. So maybe the secret combination is like eat well, work out, take your walks, and remove stress. I know people that said, I work out 3 times a week, I eat right, and I still got the belly. Remove the stress. Stress is a killer. And that stress can come from a breakup. So the breakup bra is the neglected man. People do not take his pain seriously. Been there, done that. Not that I haven't taken someone's pain seriously, but experienced it myself. And people can be very tone deaf. I guess that's the word. There's plenty of fish in the sea. There's plenty of women out there. You're a good-looking guy. You can go out there and get any woman you want. Well, no shit. No kidding. I would have done that. If that's what I wanted, I would have done that. But along with the death of relationship comes the death of hopes and dreams. So you're not just burying the relationship and grieving that. You are grieving the loss of a dream. The house together, the land, the homesteading, the chickens and the goats. You know what I'm talking about. There's a couple different funerals that you have to have when you go through a breakup. Breakup is very stressful. So I say to all the brothers who went through a breakup and are still feeling it, know that there's someone who cares about your pain and despair. Me. Divorce is hard, but so are breakups. But these dudes get ignored because most of the world doesn't see the pain and loss of hope that you might have experienced. Your darkness is just as dark. Your pain is real. The pressure in your chest is real. But the good news is you can get through this. Watch as many videos of mine as you can. There's thousands of hours of instruction on this YouTube channel to help you. Something, you know how they say, eat the meat and discard the bones. There are some things that you might not be interested in. There's some things where you don't agree with me, or I don't believe everything you say, or I don't, I get the letters that say things like, although I don't agree with everything you say. Well, no shit. Who does? But I do agree with you on this. Okay, well then that's the meat. Take that and you utilize that. If you watch thousands of hours of my work, and there's thousands of hours here, and are not feeling some relief or at least a connection or camaraderie that's helping you heal, then you might need coaching. And that's what I do. Coaching is different than therapy. Therapy focuses on the past, about why you are the way you are. Coaching doesn't care about how you grew up. Coaching works on the present moment going forward, helping you achieve a desired goal. So with most guys that I coach, I can help you get back on the road in 3 to 4 months. Of course, I like to say it's not cheap, but neither is staying stuck. But I will tell you that you've got this, my brother. You've got this. One of the things that I know to be true is that you can't hope alone. You need collaborators to help you. If you want to lose weight, sure, you're doing it by yourself. There's the do the work guys. I get that. You got to do the work. But it doesn't hurt to have encouragement from other people. It doesn't hurt to literally employ or engage other people in your recovery, your growth, in your progress. Hope takes more than just you. You can't hope alone. Hope requires collaboration with another human being, even if it's just with a stranger on YouTube that you've never met, but you seem to know him. It takes collaboration. And I'm happy to be your virtual coach like this. If you need one-to-one, reach out to me. That's cool. But if you can do the work by just watching videos and having some insight moments, some red pill moments, some revelation points, then fantastic. Hope represents possibilities. The loss of hope, conversely, represents the loss of possibilities. There's a reason why that scripture says hope deferred, hope put off, makes the heart grow sick. You might not be old enough to remember. It might not even be your grandparents. It might be your great-grandparents that talked about the phrase being heartsick. What happened to them? Why are they like that, Grandma? Why are they like that, Mom? Oh, they're heartsick. They're feeling very heartsick. You don't hear that much anymore. You don't hear the phrase heartsick anymore. Scripture talked about it. Hope deferred makes the heart grow sick. Hope put off. Hope canceled makes the heart grow sick. How do you make the heart well? Bring back hope. Remember, I told you my graduate studies 100 years ago. The first graduate counseling course I took was this: gather data, give hope. Gather data, give hope. When I'm sitting one-to-one with a person doing counseling or therapy, gather data, give hope. And then the second mantra was, when in doubt, gather data. When you don't know what to do with a person, just gather more data, get more information. And then always make sure that the gathering of information is intimately linked with giving hope. Don't just listen to a person's story of darkness without adding some light to it. It needs to be punctuated by light. People need to feel more hopeful when they leave your presence. And that's for everybody, not just for coaches and therapists. The loss or death of a person means the loss of hope and the loss of possibilities. So in loss, you not only lost the person, you lose the hope that they represented. So it's a double hit, sometimes a triple hit, when someone leaves your life, either by their choice or by death or circumstances. And we want to give special condolences to the family of Nancy Noel. I had her on this channel 2 years ago, and she was a dental hygienist. One of the most beautiful women I've ever known. A smile that will melt you. She died of lung cancer. From diagnosis to death was 2 months. It was pretty quick. I had her on the channel. You might remember her. I'll put a link for that particular video below here. But when I found out that she passed away, it blew my mind. She was 49 years old. Holy cow. Way too young. Way too young. So rest in peace, Nancy. We love you. Men in general are in for a terrible letdown. Or as Rollo Tomasi once said about me, I'm stuck in old order thinking. You know, that caused a lot of anger with me towards him. And I couldn't wait to get back at him. And I will never forget a revelation point when I said to myself, you know what, I'm stuck in old order thinking. When someone else calls you on your stuff, you get offended. And then when you call yourself on your own stuff, you have to humble yourself and say, you know what, maybe they were right. Or definitively say they were right. And that's how I was. And it's very humbling. Men are in for a terrible letdown in life. Lower your expectations for other people. Expect the best, but be prepared for the worst. If men don't wake up from their idealism slumber, get married and live happily ever after, I can tell you one thing. If they don't wake up from that slumber, it's a killer. It can kill you. So, kill your idealism. I encourage excellence and growth, but kill the idealism. Eliminate it from your life. I'm not saying be black-pilled. I'm not saying be a doomer. I'm not saying just have like this negative attitude. But literally, idealism is a killer. That's one of the things I love about the book of Proverbs. It keeps it real. Remember, for a while I was saying, keeping it real on a Thursday morning. Someone has to tell the truth. It might as well be me. Base your life in reality. Quietly work and chip away at your dreams. You will achieve them. And don't forget, you are not broken. And with that, finish your coffee, and I'll see you tomorrow on the Daybreak Show, your home of sanity, clarity, and reason.